Welcome to Trauma Recovery Out Loud, where we talk about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going in our trauma recovery journeys. Join us and get some insights and encouragement to keep going and keep growing. Let's go. We're live.
Hello. Here we are again.
We all survived Winter Storm Fern.
Yes, we
Fern.
did. And didn't
Fern.
lose power.
Sounds so summery or springy, you know,
Doesn't
Fern.
it sound threatening? I was thinking like fern. That doesn't sound threatening at all.
It doesn't sound like snow either.
Like no.
It sounds so relational, like you would be friends with someone named Fern.
Totally.
Are we dropping potted plants from the sky?
I'm staying in.
Well, I mean, the way this storm went, you might as well have been dropping
Right.
potted plants from the sky,
Yeah, seriously.
or visiting a forest full of fern. Have you ever been to one of those? Like
I
a
don't
forest that's just
think
the
so.
floor is covered in fern.
Yes. Well,
Is
at
it-
at where I work at Winter Tour, there are whole areas where that's, you have these tall trees, and then all across the ground is just ferns, as far as the
That's-
eye can see.
That's something to behold.
It's gorgeous.
But I would say the winter storm was nothing like that.
No,
No. It's very much the opposite of that.
I'm looking out my window
Thankfully-
now. It looks remarkably like snow out there. Just saying.
Yeah, thankfully,
Nary,
huh?
I was going to say nary a fern in sight.
Nary a fern in sight. Yes. Thankfully, we were all stuck in the house. My husband had to work over the weekend as he normally does.
Yeah.
But he didn't have to go out last night, which was good because yesterday afternoon to evening is when the sleet and freezing rain started.
Yeah.
Yes.
And him being a hospice nurse, you can't just go, well, I can't go in.
Yeah, he said he was
So-
able to handle all the calls he had over the phone. So I'm thankful for that because
Yes.
otherwise he would have been out driving around. Now, thankfully, most of the people that were out driving around were service workers of various kinds, like utilities guys and
Mhm.
EMS, first responders, police, etc. So maybe he would have been okay. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, just driving in that GAC.
Yeah. Better for him to be safe than not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, so we all survived and we still have power, which means we can record
Obviously.
the day after Fern. And we decided to do it in the afternoon. So I'm actually sitting in the glow of the afternoon light.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
In my
That's
living
okay.
room this time. Decided I didn't feel like carrying all my stuff over to my table, setting
Yeah.
it up, and then carrying it all back after we're done because I got to make dinner.
Right.
Yeah.
So I opted for the lazy way out.
More comfortable.
It
Not the
works.
comfortable way out.
Yeah, it is a bit more comfortable.
Not lazy. You're still doing the work.
Yeah. You're just doing it comfortably. That's all.
Now you won't be distracted by discomfort.
True. I won't be shifting forward and shifting back and shifting forward and shifting back.
Except
Oh,
what you
it's true.
just did. So
Oh, I looked at this and thought, wow, how did my hair get red all the way back there? But it's my headphones. Okay. Hello.
Anyway.
Welcome to the podcast.
pardon us.
I'm Stephanie Dunham.
I'm Evelyn Mason.
I'm Rochelle Knapp.
Woohoo! Welcome to Trauma Recovery Out Loud podcast. And this is our third recording of the year. We're focusing on living a good life during trauma recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And today's episode is building healthy habits. And so far, recap.
Recap alert.
So far we've talked about why does any of this even matter?
Yeah.
Why should I care about my body and my mind? And we went over, how we feel about ourselves,
Mhm.
and how that affects whether or not we want to make an effort to improve our lives.
Yeah.
And then last week, which we just posted today, we talked about self-awareness and mindfulness, where we feel that these are two essential skill. It's two. I did four. Two essential skills for building a bridge. Because after our discussion today on what thumbnail to create, it turned out to be building a bridge. So building a bridge toward or to a better life.
Yeah.
Because you have to be aware of the things that are going on inside of you to know what the problems are.
Yeah.
And then be mindful about creating solutions for managing things better.
Yes.
Which includes things like, I feel shame when I want to make an appointment, which generally stops me from calling. So I need to be aware of that fact and be mindful about how I'm approaching making the appointment so I can actually do it.
Yeah.
All right, recap over. Yeah, so now we're talking about building healthy habits. We have a whole big list. Next week, we're going to have Mike Minercha, otherwise known as Mike Machine, Hammer Fit. He's coming on with us to talk about specifically exercise, because he's a certified personal trainer. He's my personal trainer, and I think he's going to have a lot of good things to say.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
He always has a lot of things to say, and good things too.
Yes, interesting, fun,
but we love
and
him.
Helpful.
Yes.
We keep talking over each other.
A very interesting guy.
I can be in a totally bad mood and go to the gym to work out with Mike and totally leave in a much better mood.
Yeah.
Either he's super encouraging or just funny.
Or both.
Yeah.
Or both. Anyway, building healthy habits. What do we mean by that? Now that we've talked about the other two things, what do we mean by building healthy habits? Somebody, I don't care who.
Basically, like, oh man, I'm in it now.
Oh no, Michelle spoke up, and now she.
I had a thought, right out my mind here. Building healthy habits, doing things that are good for your body, good for all aspects of your being. Whether it's eating right, exercising, taking your meds, all of the above. Learning how to, in my case, regulate your nervous system, building healthy habits in that way, which is a process and a skill to learn that's worth learning, in my opinion. And just essentially like changing the way that you do things on a daily basis, because a lot of us, I think, fall into bad habits pretty easily, and they're harder to break than new habits are. They're harder to break than new habits are to form, I think. I could be wrong on that, though. But yeah,
I think there's evidence for that being true.
Yeah. Yeah. I find that regulating my nervous system and emotional regulation is definitely something worth doing, but it's also very difficult because it involves emotion and trauma. But it's worth doing because it helps me to stay grounded. And I'm learning. I just started this last week, so I'm not an expert or anything like that, but I am learning to understand myself better and like how I get triggered and how things happen in my body when I feel triggered or whatever's going on, stressed, whatever. It doesn't have to be a trigger. And that's one of the habits I'm trying to build right now.
Okay, so can you give us an example of a habit that you would form concerning regulating your nervous system?
The number one thing right now I'm trying to do is pause before I react. If I feel a particular trigger, like I did earlier today, immediately finding a way to ground myself. Pausing is definitely part of that, but the trigger was pretty intense. So I had to tell myself, I'm safe. I'm okay. I have to like deliberately stop and pause and ground myself so that I don't go off into a meltdown of some kind or
Yeah, and
a panic attack.
you did do that in a variety of ways. One of them was taking a nap.
Yeah, and that did help more than I expected.
You
That's
got
good, too.
big sistered into laying down and taking a nap.
I totally did, which I'm thankful for. Very thankful for that, because I probably wouldn't have done it otherwise. I would just tried to power through and come on the podcast. And my biggest concern, and this was what I thought about, was I don't want to check out and be not here mentally for the podcast. So I
Yeah.
needed to do something that would help me get here faster emotionally and
Yeah.
mentally.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about habits, what do we mean? Like, what is a habit?
Yeah. So a habit is basically the rhythm of our lives. So it's things we do regularly. It's the pattern of things. So getting up at a certain time, eating at a certain time, doing our self-care certain time. It's these things that we do daily, or some of the things are weekly, some of the things are monthly, but it's a regular thing. That's how we live our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so things like, they're not things that you necessarily are born knowing how to do.
right.
They're things that you have to learn how to do,
Mm-hmm.
and decisions that you make of patterns, as you say, that you want to have as a part of your life to help yourself in some way.
Yeah.
Generally, that's what habits are for, and they're
Yeah.
and they're good, and they're usually automatic once they're established.
Right.
We don't really think about it like, if you get hungry, you have a habit of eating something.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
It's not
Usually.
something you spend a lot of time thinking about, like, oh,
Right.
I'm hungry, get food. That's a habit.
Mhm.
Although I would say the instinct to eat food is there as soon as you're born.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah, it's
sure.
pretty ingrained.
I mean, that's one of the things that like when the baby's first born, if the mother wants to breastfeed, she's encouraged to put the baby up there as soon as possible, because it's right there. It's very instinctive, and that gets you off to a good start. So I mean,
Yeah.
as soon as the baby comes out, because prior to that, of course, they were being fed without even realizing it.
Yeah.
They
So maybe eating's not the best definition of a habit, but
it's
maybe
more like, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
what you eat, when you eat. Like, I have a habit of eating pretty quickly from waking up, because I tend to get sick to my stomach if I don't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't tend to wait very long. Like, within the first hour of waking up, I need to eat something. Now that's a
Yeah.
habit. Like, Evelyn, you tend to eat a little bit later in the day because you don't
Yeah.
eat at home. So your
Yeah.
habit is to eat somewhere else.
Yeah. And what's funny is, if I'm not at work, some of my habits get a little wonky because I'm in, but yeah, 5 days a week. But even so, like, the definitely very firmly established habit is coffee as soon as possible after I get up. And then,
Here.
amen. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Yeah, and then there's a certain time, and it's so funny because I eat at the same time, breakfast, so I start to feel hungry right about that. And I'll be, working at my desk or whatever, doing this, and I'll start to feel hungry. I go, I wonder what time it is. Sure enough, it's like 2 minutes before 8:30, and okay, time to pause and eat breakfast. And then, like, almost right at noon, I start getting hungry again. So it's such a habit that my body tells me when it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of our habits are based in instinctual things, but some of them aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of them aren't, actually.
Yeah.
A little quick side trip. I find it hilarious that because I go to work so early, I eat my lunch break is anywhere between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. I eat lunch, and some people are eating breakfast.
When you get to work at 5 a.m.
or 6
10
a.m. Yeah.
breakfast, lunch seems like it should be around 10.
Yeah. It just makes me laugh because I was eating a pork chop last week at 9 a.m. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so habits are things that patterns and rhythms we establish to, live our lives the way that we want to live our lives. But we can create some pretty unhealthy ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Especially if you have trauma, complex PTSD. ADHD seems like one that has a lot of unhealthy habits. Because we're trying to, I feel like bad habits start, whether it's related to trauma or not, bad habits start when we're doing something that feels good in the moment and does something for us temporarily, but then it becomes a thing that becomes detrimental to our lives.
Yeah. I was thinking when you were saying that about when I was little, if I didn't like what was going on, as soon as I could, I would literally run away and hide. So, and that took various forms. If if I was in a group of people, and I was thinking in particular about getting together with family, and I came from a really big family on my dad's side, and I was one of the older kids. So being surrounded by about 8 or so little cousins would get to be too much and be, I just want to get away. I would literally run away and hide. Or if my parents were, we were doing a project and we were all supposed to be helping and I was just tired of helping, I would run away and hide. But also, my parents were getting into an argument or something, I'd go hide in my room and close the door. Yeah. And I found relief every time. It was good. I'd sometimes literally climb a tree and just watch everything. And it felt good. It felt good to run away. It felt good to hide. It worked, Yeah. I was able to escape. But the problem is I still want to run away and hide as an adult, when I should be staying there in the moment, dealing with whatever it is. At some level, I want to either literally or even just in my mind run away. So that habit started, I was very little.
Yeah.
Probably just out of toddlerhood.
Yeah, I established a habit of eating something when I didn't feel happy. It's my version of running away and hiding.
Yeah, same here. I did both. I ran away. I ran away and eat bad things. Yeah.
I've never been much of one to run away from something. I'm more of like just standing there and taking it in the moment, but also just, I don't know, wanting to stuff my face, although I wasn't allowed to at home. I found ways to do it at school.
Yeah.
And when I became an adult, it was just a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
But the habit of picking up something to eat when I'm stressed has followed me to now. I'm still dealing with it. But a lot of things, like we talked about the last 2 episodes, things that are good for us to do just aren't present in our lives. So, for example, getting some exercise, choosing a good diet, going to the doctors, any number of things we've already talked about. Those are habits we have to build.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. New Year's, sorry, but New Year's resolutions, bucking yourself up, just do it. Any number of slogans you want to throw out there where you're just supposed to pluck yourself up by your bootstraps or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work.
No. Something I heard recently, somebody said that people make New Year's resolutions, but they don't think about the behavior. So, the problem isn't the resolution itself, it's the behavior. Like if you say, I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to eat healthy every day. And that lasts a week and then, or maybe 2 weeks, then reality sets in and you're back to your old habits. It's because you haven't changed your behavior. That's really what building habits is about, is changing your behavior, because you can't move to doing something well and if you don't make a deliberate choice to change your behavior.
Right.
And that's hard to do especially when you have trauma, because you've done things a certain way for a long time, which is also a habit, good or bad. And suddenly you're trying to change that paradigm. It's really tough. It's tough to make that transition from, I've done it this way for my entire life, I'm not going to change, to, I realize this is a bad habit, I need to change it. That the interim there is the behavior, and figuring out how to change that for the better, and then moving into building that habit. Quite a process.
Yeah. I think it's good that we talked about, awareness and mindfulness last week, because I think that sets us up pretty good to then talk about the habits, because as you were saying, Rochelle, you have to deal with the behaviors. And if you're not really aware of, how you're not eating well or not getting enough sleep or whatever it is, whatever is going on emotionally that may be preventing you from even, setting goals. I mean, I struggle with New Year's resolutions. To me, I mean, like at work, they want me to set goals and I kind of freak out because I'm so afraid of failure, and the two are difficult for me, either one, and it's like, okay, but I do need to do something, I do need to set some sort of goals or something, whether we call it a New Year's resolution or this is a life change that I need to do, to be aware what I'm doing now isn't working.
Yeah.
And I need to make a change. And I want to have a specific something in mind to hang on to and figure it out. What does healthy eating look like? What does getting enough sleep look like? What is the right amount of exercise? And how can I build that into my life in a way that is sustainable and not freak out right at the beginning and give up before I even start, which I think is something that, Steph, you'd mentioned about people with ADHD or ADD, a lot. That's one of the symptoms to that is giving up before we even start, because it just all seems to be too much, too hard to figure out. So it's like we need some sort of on-ramp to get this ball rolling, as it were.
Your mic needs to be right in front of you like this.
I was going to say hi, Sensei. I don't know why. I'm having a little trouble getting
it. Oh,
there it is. There it is. Okay. All right. Hey, there we go.
You gotta spend a little time with your mic and getting to know it, and you got to make sure that it's not in front of your chin again.
the boom thing is new, so I'm trying to figure that out. That's what I'm trying to do.
You got to use the knobs to loosen it tight, and just make sure that it's tilted back.
Hey, look at that!
Oh, look at that! You have it.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah, technical issues.
Yes.
This is not AI.
No,
definitely not fake.
We're as real as we get. I think. Whatever.
So, so we're identifying like the problems, I think, with habits in general. Everybody has good and bad habits. It's not unusual for people, regardless of their upbringing, to have good things, bad things. And, I'd say there's probably some, quote, bad habits people have that aren't that detrimental, that aren't that destructive, like things they do that are just kind of them.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, I don't feel like we have to police what bad habits or people are doing. That's not the point.
Right.
I think the point is what we want to do from the perspective of we have a disability, we're at a
Mhm.
disadvantage,
Yeah.
we're constantly being sucked dry of energy trying to deal with what's going on in here. So we want to build things in our lives that support our efforts to manage. I'm not going to use the word overcome,
Mhm.
to manage what's happening inside so we can live good, productive lives.
Yeah.
And so if there are bad habits, because I think stopping bad habits isn't quite the same as building good habits.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we need to do both, but what we're talking about is doing things we normally don't do as a result of trauma or bad executive functioning, like we talked about last week, struggling to remember to brush my teeth.
Mhm.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
I want to build a healthy life, a healthy habit, which would be remembering to brush my teeth, I'm not doing it because of trauma, and I want to do it so I don't, lose my teeth.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have to figure out to some extent why it's not happening. So that's
Mhm.
self-awareness,
Right.
Mhm.
and also what to do to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how do I get from point A to point B? And I think that's the crux of what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
How do I get there?
Yeah. I years ago when I was in my 20s, maybe early 30s, I had a doctor who was a very good doctor. And he was specialized in nutrition, and he was a cardiovascular surgeon, but he helped people with nutrition things on the side in order to prevent needing to be operated on. And I went to see him, and he was very gentle and very kind, and he would talk about habits and changing your habits in a way that no one had ever explained to me before. And I think I was early to mid 20s. I was still living in Rising Sun, Maryland. And no one had ever explained to me how habits work, because what he would say to me is, if you take something out, you have to put something else in. If you take out a bad habit, you have to replace it with a good one. That's the ideal. Unfortunately, he didn't talk a lot about behavior, but the information he gave me at the time was enough for me to understand to some degree how it works to change your habits. And we did talk about food, and one of the easiest ways that I'm doing now, to some degree, all these years later, was swapping things out. Like if you want to have a piece of cake and you've already had some sugar that day, swap it out for something else, a little bit healthier, that kind of thing. And
So like, what would you swap it out for?
I think his suggestion was at that point like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which still has some sweetness to it, but it's not overly sweet, and it has protein. Or something less sugary, like a low sugar pudding or something like that, or less of a piece of cake, like half of a slice was another option as well. Things like that. And it was very practical, and it made a lot of sense to me. And I was very young and didn't really know what I was doing as an adult. So that helped me at least understand what it meant to change habits. And I remember it all these years later, so it obviously made an impact.
Yeah, I feel like right now what I'm working on building a habit of is self-awareness and mindfulness of when I want to binge.
Mm.
Mhm.
So I'm getting a little bit better at it. Although recently I have had some mindless binges, like I'm just eating and not thinking about it, but I'm trying to develop the habit of noticing when I feel the urge.
Yeah.
And then asking myself, why
Mhm.
do I feel that urge? What's going on? Like lately, I've been a little stressed out. I mean, I feel like I'm always stressed out.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
are you ever not stressed out?
Just different forms of stressed out.
Yeah.
Right? Today's
yeah.
version.
I'm stressed. I'm more stressed out about some personal things.
Yeah.
So I find myself like, okay, so after lunch today, I have these little, they're about yay big dimensionally. They're little peanut butter cups made with dark chocolate that I I have a bag of them from BJ's. So you know it's a lot. This is from BJ's. And I got 4 out after my lunch. So I had some chicken and a salad, just tomatoes and lettuce and some salad dressing. That was it. And some chicken. Now, one of the habits, I don't know how good this is, but if I want to have candy after lunch, I won't eat any carbs at lunch. So that's kind of a habit. Right? I'll think about it ahead of time and I'll be like, okay, I really do want some peanut butter cups after lunch. So I'm just not going to have any carbs while I eat my lunch. So that's a habit. But also, I got 4 out of the bag. And I ate those 4. And then I sat there and this urge came in, 2 more. And I'm like, or just more. And I'm like, why do I want 2 more? Or why do I didn't think 2 more. I said, why do I want more? And I thought about it. I'm like, well, you are stressed out about a situation.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought about it for a minute. It's like, you know what? I'll have 2 more. Now, 6 small peanut butter cups after lunch isn't the worst thing in the world. It's also not the best thing for my blood sugar.
Yeah.
But I slowed down the process because I might have eaten 4 more and not just 2 more.
Yeah.
Which would have turned it into a mini binge.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a little bit of a win if at least I feel the urge and I stop and I ask myself why this is happening.
Yeah.
And then made a decision, not a great one, but it wasn't the worst one I could make either. I just made it.
Progress.
It's progress.
Right. And you were thinking about it. So it wasn't like after the fact, oh, geez, I just ate, however many. And, you actually slowed everything down and you were mindful of it.
You took the word right out of my mouth. Wait, are we talking about mindfulness?
So if you guys didn't see last week's, you might want to go back to it where we talk about being mindful and self-aware. Well, it's funny. I'm sitting at my desk right now where I work from home and wherever, I literally, I have this lovely antique desk that has been in my family for a long time. And what I like to do when I'm working from home is have a little, group of snacks. The problem is I like something salty and crunchy. Nothing wrong with that. However, I would maybe have Cheetos or no, enough Cheetos, more like Fritos, Doritos, other toes that aren't that I'm like eating them. I'm enjoying them in the moment. And then I'm like,
don't eat.
I don't feel good.
Don't eat any toes, please.
No actual toes. Okay.
Not even salty, crunchy toes.
No.
Good source of protein. Fine.
Especially not those.
So here's what I did. Now,
oh my gosh.
Part of the thing is, when you know better, but you're still like, but I want the thing.
Yeah.
So I thought, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I already have some naughty snacks. They're actually right back there. You can see there's a light blue bag there. I don't know if you guys can see that. They're further away, but right next to me, I got some pistachios. Now, I love pistachios in the shell because it slows me down and I can still have that salty crunchy. And I don't have that greasy, yucky, I just ate a bag of Fritos and now I feel nauseous, But I find that I can think better if I'm crunching on something. It helps me to, focus better on my work. And having them right here, literally, I just reach to my right. A little further back to the right, though, Stefan mentioned about peanut butter cups, dark chocolate salted peanut butter cups. The problem is my bag wasn't very big and I didn't want to run out. So I would go 1. Now, the other day I was feeling stressed and I knew that I wanted to eat more because I was feeling upset. And I thought, okay, can I allow myself one more? Kind of similar to what you did, Steph, where I actually thought about it. And I thought, okay, just one more, but that's all. And now I'm down to only 2. So I'm just kind of looking at them like, I'll be out soon.
Yeah. So let's talk about personal, like a healthy habit you want to build in your life right now. Like for me, it would be another day of exercise.
Mm-hmm.
I have one established. It's a good, healthy habit. But I want a second one. And I have a few obstacles that I need to figure out how to work around or over. I'm not sure what to say about them. But that's one for me. What about you guys? What's one healthy habit you want to build that you currently aren't doing that would support living a good life?
For me, it would be exercising overall. At least stretching at this point. Because my body hurts, my knee's getting worse. I have arthritis. My hand is starting to hurt. I'm not really sure why. And it's like noticeably painful. So things like that. When I worked with Mike, who we are going to be talking to next week, it proved to me that it is possible to overcome a lot with exercise. And it's almost like having a secret that other people don't know, which sounds kind of silly, but that's how I feel. Because there's so much I see out there and in myself that can be overcome by exercising. I don't know that there's any obstacles other than I just don't want to do it, if I'm being completely honest. But I'm getting to the point where mentally, at least, understanding the value, and that's also the next phase in my health journey as far as like food, exercise, that sort of thing goes. It's just coming to the point where I'm like, it's the same thing like with emotional regulation. I just have to do it because it's another step in the right direction. It's another step in the direction I want to go.
You're getting way ahead of what we're
Sorry.
trying to take this.
Sorry.
It's like, she took off like a rocket.
That's what I pictured too.
The bun rocket.
Yeah. So do you have one, Evelyn, that you want to a healthy habit you want to build?
I do. So we're all talking about exercise. I need to have, I stretch every morning, which is great. And there are some specific stretches that I've been adding that have helped. But what I need to do is more cardiovascular and more weight training. So what I've been trying to do, and I've started it, it's gotten to a sputtering start, is to figure out when I can do just a little 15-minute pocket of exercise in the morning. And I've actually found a series of exercises that are like that. They're like short and intense. But I even have a time set aside to do them. But it hasn't really become a habit yet because sometimes I lose track of the time and I run out of time or something comes up. And so, but I really want to establish it.
Because you talked about, I think in the first one of the year, about doing the 50s, the fabulous 50s.
Fabulous 50s. Yeah.
So just for context sake, when you talked about it then, it sounded like you were doing it habit wise, but are you saying that that's fallen off?
I'm saying, yeah, so I would say I started to do it, but it's not an established habit yet.
Okay.
So I've done it like in the last couple of weeks. I've probably done it 2 or 3 times each week. And I want to do it. I want to do it 5 days. I want to do it every day of the week before I go to work. It's my goal.
Okay. All right.
It's only 15 minutes, so I feel like I can do it.
Well, yeah, but what we're talking about is being realistic about, first of all, if you go back to the last 2 or 3 podcasts of the year, we talked about the fact that we're coming from a place of disability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, we have to be realistic about that fact, because if you're not realistic about that, you don't know where you're at, you don't know where you need to go, you don't know
Mhm.
what you need to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you have no framework for where you are with what you're struggling with, then it's difficult to build a healthy habit
Right.
because you're not being realistic about the struggles that are getting in the way of this healthy habit you want to start. So
Mm-hmm.
for myself right now, I used to work out 2 times a week. Then some things happened and I left the Y and followed Mike over to this new gym, and
Mhm.
we can just barely afford to pay him to to train us once a week.
Yeah.
So I can't afford an additional gym membership anywhere really.
Yeah.
Right.
I have weights here at home. I know what to do. I don't have a whole lot of space, but I have enough space that I could effectively make my living room a gym temporarily.
Mhm.
I've been in a major emotional slump for over a year now,
Mhm.
as I'm attempting to work through my emotions about the holidays and eating. So my energy is
Yeah.
so mustering the mental energy to get myself off the couch and to do something, or just, I'm not just sitting on my couch all day. I just want to be clear about that.
She's working.
What?
Trust
Really?
me.
I'm busy all the
She's
time.
busy all the time. I can
Yeah.
attest to that.
But there are pockets of time where I am sitting on the couch and I'm thinking to myself, well, I could be over there lifting some weights or something. I could
Mhm.
get up on Thursday morning, because I do have time on Thursday morning, and I could do a routine. Like, that's the thoughts that are going through my head. And it's true.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But what are the obstacles? Well, mainly it's a lack of mental energy for me. The desire is there, but I found this video the other day, it might have been yesterday, about the differences between discipline and capacity.
Mhm.
And the woman, a psychologist, was explaining that if you're trying to establish a new habit and you're struggling to do it, it might not be a discipline issue. It might be a capacity issue, meaning you don't have enough energy to support what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So I think in my case, that's what's true, is
Mhm.
that there isn't enough mental energy to establish a new habit. Now, what do I do with that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do I how do I find the mental energy to get up on a Thursday morning and establish a healthy habit?
Mhm.
Right.
Well, I think for myself anyway, I have to assess what's drawing on my energy.
Yeah.
Like what's taking away from my ability to have the energy to do something.
And also, what needs your energy the most, or what needs your energy more? Like, I don't think that it's always as cut and dry as good habit versus bad habit. Like we're talking about capacity. In your case, if you have energy that you need for, let me rephrase. If you have things that require your energy, and that's where you're having to put it, there just may not be the capacity for something new. And you're not necessarily doing anything wrong per se. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And things are more
Mhm.
important than other things are at this time. And
Right.
being realistic about that isn't a bad thing necessarily.
Yeah, and I think that's where I was headed. Like, what is taking up my mental energy? Well,
Mhm.
I have several things that I do,
Mhm.
like this, for example.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a draw on mental energy. Running the household to support my husband. That takes mental energy. Supporting my son while he attends college. That takes mental energy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I could say about why he needs support, but he does need it. So
Yeah.
I'm the one that does the majority of it.
Mhm.
Running a dojo.
Yeah.
Right.
I have real life human beings that I'm caring for in that particular way.
We're not
that
AI.
they're not robots.
No.
They're real humans with real feelings.
Yes.
So it takes a lot of energy for me to really think through, how do I help them? How do I guide them? What's the right thing to say? When's the right time to hold back? Like, it's a in the moment kind of thing a lot of the time, but it is a draw.
Right.
Yeah.
Trying to manage the food addiction and just eating disorder, another emotional draw.
Yeah.
Now, is there other things going on that I could eliminate? I have actually already done that. I did that not quite a year ago.
Right.
I took myself out of several different things I was involved in that required a lot more energy than I actually had.
Right.
But it's been almost a year for some of that. And in my mind, I feel like I kind of have this deadline.
Mm.
I should be over it in a year.
Well,
But I'm
Yeah.
finding that what's actually happening is making decisions about what I actually am capable of.
Yeah.
right. And that's so important to figure that out. And I think when we're trying to develop new habits too, it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Yeah.
Like, as I'm trying to do this exercise thing, some mornings I don't get it done. So I think, well, is there another point in the day where I could tuck it in? Even just doing a little something. Like one day I was kind of a mess in many ways. And, I get to work and I have to do what I need to do for work, talk about a draw, on your reserves. And I realize that not exercising is kind of making it worse, because I always feel better after I exercise. I have more energy and more stamina, more strength. That helps support my mind and my emotions. It all works together. So I thought, okay, I need like a little mental health walk. So and I thought, okay, I'm not that I want to kill birds with stones, okay, but I'm killing two birds with one stone by the other day I just let one of my coworkers know, because we always let each other know if we're gonna, leave the building for some reason. I'm like, I'm just gonna go for a little walk. And because I work at a beautiful place, I thought I had in my mind where I was gonna go. It wasn't very far because it's kind of cold out. Put on my badge, head on out the door, and just look around, see something pretty, take a deep breath, do a little walking. Okay, go back in.
Yeah.
And I felt like, okay, I did something. It doesn't have to be all day, every day getting it right. Like, even with this new habit that I'm trying to build, I realized that it's going to take some time to establish it. And there are certain things that are going to take priority. I mean, the other day when I needed to talk to my mom for a while, that ate up the exercise time, but it was the thing that needed to happen.
Yeah.
That said, I would assess, okay, can I do it, the next day? Let me try again and see how it works. And I just had this idea to set an alarm for the time that I usually, to have in mind what time. If the alarm goes off and reminds me, I can assess, okay, can I do it now? And maybe it's not going to be as long. Maybe instead of 15 minutes, it's going to be 10, maybe even 5, In our martial art, we're learning how to do these stances where we have our legs open, our hips open, our knees out over our toes. Can I do a 10-second stand like that? Can I do it a few times during the day? It's something. It's going in the right direction. Is it exactly what I want, where I want to be? No, but it's good for now.
And I think that, part of the problem is the all or nothing thinking. The black and white thinking is very trauma oriented thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I tend to think,
You got this, Rochelle.
I tended to think.
Yes, there you
I
go.
tended to think that it had to be all or nothing, if there's no flexibility within something. And I think that caused me a lot of problems. Excuse me 1 second. That caused me a lot of problems because being disabled, you can't realistically just jump in with both feet and do a new thing all of a sudden. It's just not going to work. You're going to get burned out. You're going to get discouraged, probably.
Yeah.
And being
Yeah.
a martial artist has taught me how to slow down and try to figure things out, because I'll give you an example today. Now, it's not a habit or anything, but it is a way of slowing down. I had to put my little handy dandy boom mic thing together today. I've never done anything like that before, at least not in a very long time. And I took the time to figure it out, and it felt really good to be able to do that. And that's talking about slowing down instead of jumping in and beating yourself up if you can't do it the first time perfectly, or however people think about it. This all or nothing mentality, giving yourself the space and the grace to figure things out in forming a new habit. Because we are so quick to, I think we're our worst judges. We're so quick to judge ourselves, especially if you have trauma and authority figures in your life are demanding, to say the least. There's this built-in expectation that you're going to get it perfect the first time, every time. And that's just not reality for those of us who have trauma and who are disabled as a result. You can't do it.
Or our humans.
That too.
Yeah, I think I tend to. I actually have two problems related to that. One is, if I have the all or nothing mentality, and the idea of getting out of bed and going downstairs and starting something at a certain time is overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So I might as well not even bother.
Mm.
Especially if that specific morning I feel extremely low energy.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I get this weird high if I accomplish things, and I'm actually afraid of that.
You're afraid of the high?
Yeah. It's like the high isn't necessarily an oxytocin or what's the serotonin increase. It's
Serotonin, yeah.
Whatever it is. It's not, or dopamine. Is that the one?
Oh,
yeah.
I don't, probably.
Whichever one it is. It's not a dopamine burst that I feel. It's more like a weird obsessive thinking about accomplishing things. So I have those two walls in my face of, if I go down and exercise, I'm going to have to deal with one or both of those things. I'd just rather not.
Yeah, I mean, it can seem huge, especially first thing in the morning. I mean, I have to have at least probably 10 to 12 ounces of coffee in me before I can even think about exercising.
Oh, no. This is all
only in theory.
Post coffee and breakfast. No.
I'm sorry.
No. I'm saying I would never do anything before coffee or breakfast. It's afterwards. I like to do things in the morning. So if I get up at 7, let's say, and I've eaten breakfast, had my coffee by 8, I want to be working by 9. Whatever that looks like, whether it's going to the gym or doing an exercise program or working on the podcast or any number of things. I want to do it in the morning because afternoons they're super sucky for me. I don't feel good. I don't want to do anything. I'm tired. So I'm not that productive in the afternoons. So it would be in the best time for me to establish a routine would be in the morning. First thing.
Yeah.
Like the first thing I would do.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of thinking smaller in terms of like, if I could just do a thing. And sometimes I think just thinking about doing it, if the goal is eventually to be doing it. Now, if you're just thinking about it, guilting and shaming yourself, that's not great.
Yeah. No.
But if you're thinking about it in the vein of, all right, maybe next time I'll think about it more or think about it sooner. That to me feels like progress, even if I'm not actually doing the thing.
Yeah. I just had this thought. What if we thought of it as kind of like partnering with ourselves? So instead of having this, if I don't get it right, shame on me, I'm more like working with myself to do these things. So when we consider, okay, am I up to, I don't know, it sounded good in my head. Anyway, what am I up for this morning, and then having lots of grace and acceptance and not going to any shame
Mm-hmm.
as if you're working with your best friend.
Yeah, so I think what you're saying is, maybe I'm going to say what I think you're saying, and you could tell me
Okay.
if I'm right or not. Because I'm thinking what you're saying from a martial arts teacher perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm teaching somebody something new and their body just isn't doing it, I have to break it down into way smaller components and have them get victories on much smaller things and then build from there
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
until they arrive at the place.
Yeah.
So it sounds like what you're saying to me is that if you partner with yourself, you could treat yourself kind of like a teacher student or coach
Mm-hmm.
coachee. What do you call somebody who has a coach?
The
Coachee, the coached, like
the coach.
the coach, I guess.
don't know. I can't think
I
of
don't
the
know.
word. Anyway, the person
Client?
being coached, the client.
The client. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so if I'm helping myself in the sense of coaching myself or teaching myself something,
Mm-hmm.
if I want to get rid of the shame element altogether, then talking to myself the way you're suggesting, Evelyn, is okay, well, maybe today you don't have it in you to complete this whole thing, but at least you thought about it. That's a step in
Yeah.
the right direction. So next
Yeah.
time this comes up, maybe add just a smidge more.
Yeah. I've heard it said if you could just improve 1% every day,
I heard that too recently.
which seems doable, but also if you're just, there's also 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 1 step back. It's going to be an ebb and flow thing. So being full of grace with yourself, being full of, okay, not even letting ourselves go to, what's wrong with you? Why can't you do this thing? Because, who's really motivated when they're getting berated?
Nobody.
Right.
Nobody. It doesn't work.
Nobody.
If
Nobody.
anybody's
Not at
ever
all.
been on the receiving end of that sort of management, like if you've been under management and you've been
Mhm.
berated and some hope that you'll get it right next time, why would we do that to ourselves? And I know I have the habit of being hard on myself. So that's one of the habits I've been trying to develop, is having that idea of I'm on my own side.
Right.
I'm not my enemy. I'm going to work with myself.
So
and
Yeah.
accept myself as I am on a given day. What can I actually do?
So I guess what we're saying is part of starting to build a healthier, build healthy habits is managing the self-talk.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I know I've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but I had to systematically change the way I think about food because it was destroying me. The way I thought about it, the mentality I had was so wrong for so many reasons. And that's where I had to start. Before I made any changes outwardly, I had to start with that because my self-talk was incredibly negative because I was so addicted to sugar and it was affecting my health so much. And there's constant alarms going off in my head about it and like berating myself, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hard to slow down and accept where you are and start to systematically, slowly change things over time. That is very, very hard to do. Everybody, including myself, wants to jump in and change everything all at once. And when you have a disability and you have trauma, you can't do that. It's just not possible. And I think accepting yourself where you are, which is what we're talking about essentially, and accepting that this is the pace I have to go out to do this thing, I can't just jump in and do it easily, is hard to do but worth doing because it keeps things in perspective of, like Stephanie was talking about, the energy, the capacity that you have to give to something. And even if it's something you absolutely love, you can't always do that thing because of these reasons. And because I was talking to myself about
She does that a lot. She walks around the house mumbling to
Yes.
herself, whispering. Sometimes what does it?
I'd be like,
I like whispering. Whispering's my favorite.
Anyways, about the fact that I do actually love to exercise, but it's not a habit for me right now.
Yeah.
And that's such a contradiction. It's like, well, I love exercising. Why am I just not just doing it? Why am I not doing it? That kind of mentality is I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And getting out of that is really tough. That negativity is really hard to overcome, to manage.
So okay, so I mean, managing the self-talk is a really great place to start. But then it feels like, and this might be more in tune with where you're at, Evelyn, which is you're sometimes doing it and you're sometimes not doing it. But I feel like at some point we have to move beyond managing the self-talk to actually doing the thing.
Yeah.
So how do we get from thinking about it to actually doing it? And Evelyn, you're kind of in that transition period from what you've said.
Yeah. So what I usually do is anytime I really want to do something, I try to plan in advance and I try to set myself up for success. Now, for me, because I'm not very good naturally at managing my time well, I have to set up alarms. I have to write it down somewhere. I have to, have various things that work for me. And then as I'm trying to, thinking about doing it, I start to think about, I start to imagine myself doing it. And then that sense of accomplishment when it's done. And, I just think it through. I think through whatever it is I'm planning to do. And I imagine myself doing it, set the alarms, and, go to bed, because I try to do this first thing in the morning right after the coffee. As the coffee's kicking in, get that get that movement going so I can build on the caffeine.
Yeah.
It's being intentional, I think, is what works for me, because I know if it's not a habit, I am not necessarily going to remember to do it. I have to be intentional. And then also being flexible with it.
Yes.
Where I've set everything up the night before, for example, but then there's, my dog is sick or something may come up. So being able to go, okay, this is my plan, but also it might not work out, and that's okay, but I'm going to do my best. And then, like I mentioned before about, okay, if that doesn't work out, then I try to get creative, and this may be just my weird mind, but because I don't want to just, well, I didn't do it, so whatever. I try to think of ways I can get something in some way.
Yeah, and I think there's also an element of, if we just can't do it that day, try again tomorrow.
Yes. Yes. And I think that that's huge. And I think that that keeps us from having this all or nothing, because, okay, it didn't work out today. Think about why it didn't work out. Okay. Well, let's try again tomorrow.
Tweak it? Yeah. Is there something you can tweak about why it didn't work out?
Right.
Yeah. So like what I think I mentioned this. I actually wrote alarm 6:30 on this piece of paper, because I realized that's the one thing I was missing. That's where I would have the 15-minute from 6:30 to 6:45 before I take the shower. Before, I separate my morning into segments. And so I would like lose track of time. Oh, well, I missed it, and I got to go straight to the shower,
I have this kind of same, I'm kind of in a similar transition period with what I eat for breakfast, because I found that eating bagels every day was actually really helping me gain too much weight. I've stopped gaining weight. So that's a win, because I stopped eating bagels every day.
Yay.
But the habit of eating bagels is still embedded in my brain. So I'm doing some planning ahead of time. Like, I think at night, okay, what can I have for breakfast tomorrow? Well, let's see, what do we have? We have protein pancake mix. We have oat bran. I have eggs. there's a variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll think about it ahead of time. And then usually when I wake up in the morning, whatever I plan to eat the night before is generally what I go for in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally, I can't think of what I want at night and therefore don't have a plan for the morning. Like the past 2 mornings, I've had the high protein pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the whole bagel thing was what was contributing greatly to my weight gain. So I'm working to change the habit of not eating. The habit I want to change is not eating bagels every day or eating bagels every day.
Yeah.
I still have a bagel occasionally, but it's not every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel like the planning ahead, thinking
Mhm.
about it, strategizing
Yes.
about,
Mhm.
I really want to have a bagel. What am I going to do to alleviate that desire to have the bagel? For you, it might be, I really want to stay in bed.
Mm-hmm.
How, if you
Oh,
want to
that's-
accomplish your goal, how do I alleviate that?
That's
If you
really
have
the
no-
thing.
Yeah, if you have no real reason to stay in bed except that you just don't want to get out, like if you're not overtired or had a bad night's
Right.
sleep or whatever, then you don't have a real reason to stay in bed. Then
Right.
how are you going to help yourself get out of bed?
Right.
Right. I think realizing that some mornings I'm not going to feel like getting out of bed. So I try to think ahead of time. Like, okay, this works for me, guys. I don't know how many of you are really into coffee, but I'll lay there and I'll go, if I get up now, I can go ahead and get some coffee. And so next thing you know, I'm getting out of bed. Also, we were talking about what habits we want to develop. I really want to get to bed earlier because I still basically have to get up the same time every morning, but I feel like I'm not getting up quite enough sleep. And you start to feel that over time, just feeling that deficit, because the
Yeah.
times when I can like sleep in, I'll get a good 8 hours, but I can't go
Yeah.
to bed at 11 and wake up at 7 every night because I have to be to work at, 8 o'clock and I've got things I want to do in the morning. So,
Yeah.
so thinking about, well, what can I do? And with trying to go to bed earlier, I have in my mind, what can I do? I think through the day and I think about, like, we have classes sometimes that go kind of late. And when I go out at night, I usually don't get home till around 9:30. So I think, okay, what could I do prior to class so I don't have to do it after I get home, so I could be upstairs by, a certain time and then get to sleep by, let's see, right now I usually fall asleep around between 10:30 and quarter to 11. But what if I were to be able to knock that back, say 10 minutes, 15 minutes, incrementally working on eventually getting it? I'd like to be able to go to sleep at 10. I have not been
Right.
able to do that yet. But ultimately, I want to get there. So I'm figuring out how to tweak it here and there until I
Yeah.
can eventually get there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think a final piece, because we're already at an hour
Oh
and
my
8
goodness!
minutes. Yeah, and I think Rochelle, you talked about this some. Establishing it long term. You said you systematically changed your view on food. So what was the transition point between what Evelyn and I were just talking about in terms of this transition to actually it being a habit?
When I realized, because I don't have any allergies and I don't have any problems with food, all foods are permissible. It took away, I wouldn't say instantaneously, but it did definitely change the dynamic of how I thought about food. And it made it so much easier for me to figure out how to eat with some control. And I was able to make decisions based on that knowledge, because I used to think of it in terms of good and bad food. And if I did that, then I would be like beating myself up for eating too much sugar. And of course I was eating too much sugar because I was an addict. I was addicted to sugar. But then it became, all foods are permissible, so I don't have to necessarily, how do I put this? Like, it changed how I thought about sugar in particular. It wasn't this forbidden thing. It was permissible. So it became much more diminished. So if I have candy during the day, now there are days when I'm still like binging and not realizing it. Oh crap, I've eaten too much sugar today. I need to knock that off. But like if I have candy at one point, I try to plan what I'm eating kind of around that. If I know I'm going to eat candy or sugar at some point in the day, I try to plan around it not to eat anything else sugary. Or if I have had something sugary, I will say no to anything else that's sugary. As much as I don't want to sometimes.
So it sounds to me like what you're saying is that you have established algorithms for dealing with different food things.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I guess what we're building here, but what we're talking about is, I'm going to use not that I'm an expert in coding, but I know a little bit about it. When you start coding something, you start somewhere, and then you keep building the coding on top of the coding, and it all kind of works together to do different things. So the part that I was talking about, managing self-talk, taking things in smaller increments. Evelyn was talking about transitions from not having the habit at all to having the habit, like the transition bit in the middle. And then you're talking about, okay, it's established. It feels like we're building a system.
Pretty much, yeah.
And we have to start.
You're summing up.
Oh no!
It's time. No, it's
about
time.
That time. There
It's
it is,
time.
folks. It's sum up time. Woohoo! It happens so organically. It's actually kind of amazing that this happens the same time every time. It's almost like a habit that we didn't expect.
It's a habit she's built over time.
I have a habit of summing up when I don't mean to.
Well, I think we need to. So
okay,
go for it.
It's about that time, I guess. Okay.
Yes.
Summing up. Okay. Building healthy habits is what we're talking about. So we're saying that we have to recognize what the habit is that we want. Like, we want to include things in our lives that are healthy, that support ourselves, that help us to do better in life, and also support our journey to recover.
Yes.
So if we want to have extra exercise days, because we all mentioned exercise as things we want to establish in our lives, we have to start somewhere, which may just be thinking about it for a period of time.
Yeah.
And then thinking becomes doing, but it may be sort of back and forth, up and down, flow and ebb, in and out. But how we think about those two pieces, the managing the self-talk about it, helps to keep us going and not just give up and not be so black and white about it. Allow grace for messing up one day, whatever. And then when we have established systems in place for making ourselves do the things that we want to do that become habits, algorithms for how we get ourselves to exercise, how we establish the routines. Once that's occurred, it becomes kind of automatic, and we don't have to spend so much time managing our self-talk or making ourselves get out of bed or whatever it is that's an obstacle for building these healthy habits. So it sounds like a lot of work, but it's good work.
It's good work. It's worth it.
I'd go so far as
doing.
Yeah. I go so far as say it's healing work, because it's putting our focus on something good and something positive, even if it does take a lot of time. I know for myself, the way I felt before with sugar was out of control, and now having some control over it makes me feel better and has healed me in a way. So I'm thankful for that. It's worth doing if you can get to that place of feeling like, hey, I actually did the thing that's been frustrating me for so many years. I actually did it.
Yeah, and I have plenty of things in my life where I've established a habit that is good for me. like how to remember to brush my teeth every day. I still have days where I totally forget, but I'd say 97% of the time I remember,
Yeah.
which is a good percentage.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's
a high
you know, and my I get feedback from my dentist on how my teeth are doing, and that helps me to be encouraged to keep doing it. And excuse me, so we're encouraging people to not be so black and white about it.
Yeah.
To allow yourself space to mess up, because failure is a sign of growth.
Yes.
Is a sign of learning. It's a sign of working. You can't fail if you're just not doing it.
That's right.
That's a failure, but it's a different kind of failure.
Yeah.
Right.
But the kind of failure that comes from actually trying something is good failure.
Yeah.
So let yourself fail, but pick yourself back up. Try again. Evelyn wants to work out, what was it? How many days a week?
I'd like to the 15 minutes, 5 days a week.
Okay. So, and you're doing it 2 to 3 times per week currently?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if Evelyn wants to establish a 5-day-a-week workout schedule for 15 minutes in the morning, it's going to be back and forth for a while.
Yeah, that's where
as long as she keeps talking to herself in an encouraging way about it, and not so like, well, you didn't do it. Bad, Evelyn.
Yeah.
Bad.
That's, yeah. That does not
That's
work.
not going to produce anything.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But then eventually, she does it more and more and gets closer and closer to the 5 days a week. Or even if it's like 4 to 5 times a week.
Yeah.
That is still closer to the goal. So, just get some help on working on your self-talk if it's negative.
Yeah.
Get some help on the black and white thinking if it's so stark. If it's all or nothing, pass, fail. Like if that's how you think, then that's going to be detrimental.
Yeah.
To you. And then, get some support in trying, accountability for me is a really key factor in establishing habits. So if I can make myself accountable to someone, then that really helps me. Find what works for you. If setting alarms helps, do it. If having visual reminders helps, do it. If you can have somebody in your life say things to you without it becoming weird, do it.
Yes. They're becoming weird. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if my husband and I have a pretty good relationship and we could be weird with each other by being bossy.
Yeah, that's true. We are both firstborns after all.
Yes. Or we could be very bossy with each other, but it can get weirdly controlling if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And when you try accountability with someone, it can get weird fast. I've been through that.
Me too.
Yeah. So, but it's a matter of finding what works for you. Like what helps you to keep moving forward in your quest to establish building a healthy habit. Wait, I just uh-oh. I hit a bad sector. I don't know what I was trying to say. Uh-oh. And now I forgot. Oh well. Moving on. We are at the end of our podcast episode.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! How was my sum up? Was it good?
Excellent.
Okay, good. I hope I made sense.
Your impromptu sum ups are always good.
She's our summer upper.
Summer upper.
In the winter.
Sounds like a new drug or something. Is your summer up? Those with seasonal depression. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you what, movies come up with strange names for drugs. Like Evelyn and I watched this movie called Equilibrium.
Oh yeah.
Over the weekend. And this drug that was keeping everybody sedated basically was Prosium.
Prosium. Yes. And people who didn't take their Prosium would start to feel things, and then they
I
could
think I saw
become
that movie. Sounds
sense
familiar.
offenders.
Sense
yeah.
offenders. Oh, no.
Sense
Not
offenders.
sex offenders.
Sense offenders.
I've been feeling. And then I was watching an episode of Fallout, and the one character is addicted to drugs. That's not even, I don't know. Anyway, the Ghoul character told her to go to the store and get something called a Dictol.
Dictol.
So she went and got it and breathed it in and then vomited immediately.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely.
Detoxing.
What an image.
But it's an anti-drug drug, so they're calling it a Dictol.
An anti-drug drug.
We're not sure what this has to do with habits, but
This podcast is taking a weird turn.
you can make the habit of watching movies and finding weird things.
Well, it's our habit for things to take a weird turn.
True.
True.
We are weird, so we ought to
Right.
take weird turns.
Welcome
just
to
the
the
way it
Weird
is.
Club, everybody.
Well, is it time for the dance?
Oh, yes. Push all the buttons.
Do all the things.
Like, subscribe,
Comment.
follow.
You know what to do.
You know what
Yeah.
to do. Do it.
We got to work on our choreography.
We're so
Guys, we're gonna
we're so
develop a
unchoreographed.
habit. We're gonna develop a habit of getting coordinated.
Indeed.
It'll never happen.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Who knows?
Hey now.
It could happen.
Increments. Baby steps.
But I think part of the fun is not being coordinated. I think that's kind of the point.
We'll talk about it.
We'll
Okay.
talk later.
Yes.
We'll talk later.
Oh,
Anyway, thank you for joining us, and share this with someone that you care about. Help
Yeah.
them to, start building healthy habits for themselves.
man.
Yeah.
Leave comments.
And be encouraged.
Just be encouraged. Share stories. Whatever. And we'll see you next time. I'm Stephanie Dunham.
I'm Evelyn Mason.
I'm Rochelle Knapp.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you got some food for thought and encouragement to keep going and keep growing. See you next time. For more episodes, you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. Comment, like, and subscribe to spread the word and help the channel grow.